Yeah, welcome everyone, Sasuke Uchiha here. So episode 158 for the Boruto Naruto Next Generations anime has finally aired, and we are of course continuing the Kara activation arc as they are calling it. Of course, be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. It definitely helps out the channel, and let's get right into it. So if I'm being honest, first impressions, I have a very special appreciation for episodes like this, especially in an anime where I feel you could cut 50% of the content and nothing really changes, but that's just my personal opinion. But all the same, a very special appreciation for episodes like this, because at the end of the day, the way that the Boruto franchise is set up, each piece of work within the Boruto franchise basically complements each other. It's not the best setup if I'm being honest, but it is what it is. So there are sections in the manga that lend or basically give opportunity for natural expansion within the anime, and this is what we have for this episode of the Boruto anime. It really and truly complements the manga and sets the stage and gives some more context for some of the stuff that we got in the manga. Now of course the episode centers around Boruto and Team 7 going on a mission to locate a missing person within the land of Valley, and that's all while being introduced to a new character called Mugino, who apparently is a longtime friend slash acquaintance of Konohamaru. I believe this character is also a character that made an appearance in the Boruto manga during the events of the Ao arc. For those of you who actually read the manga, I believe that should be the case. So further to what I was saying before, this really and truly in all shapes and form really lends to expanding on certain aspects of the manga that we kind of just basically rushed over, glanced over. So yeah, natural expansion like this, I like episodes like this. Now what I like about this episode as well, and honestly I think the perks of this episode, it's really and true for me personally, is what it gives me in terms of extracting more context for the manga. And I mean that in the sense that, and this is spoilers for those of you who only watch the anime, but President Victor, we know he is an inner member of Kara, and we didn't really get much of him in the manga. But seeing him in this episode and his company and what he's trying to achieve, and more context regarding his backstory, the fact that he got injured during the Fourth Great Ninja War, which also confirms some of our suspicions regarding the origins of the members of Kara. Given their, enhanced states, they may have been war victims, which at least in this case is confirmed with Victor in this episode. But just seeing stuff like that really adds to the weight, or basically the whole resonating with the narrative that they're trying to tell regarding the Kara members, I would say. Now don't get it twisted, it wasn't the best episode in the world, but it does its job in expanding naturally on certain aspects from the manga, or at least setting the stage to expand. And if the events of the expanded Mujina Bandits arc is anything to go by, I think we're in for a treat. Now, the mission in itself in the Land of Valence is pretty straightforward. As I said, we're looking for a missing person. We're introduced to this character called Mia, who has sent in a request to Konoha, of course, to locate her husband who's disappeared on a mission to locate medical supplies for Victor's company in the Land of Valleys. Of course, we have some interesting banter between Team 7, well, not really interesting, but we have some banter between Boruto and Mugino, who apparently has been on a long-term mission in the smaller countries to quell conflict and hopefully avoid erupting conflicts into a a full-scale war again, for lack of a better term. And I'm not gonna lie, even the dialogue where Mugino speaks about the peace that the five great nations have, and in comparison to what the smaller nations have, I thought that was pretty good. And even his statements about the fact that even though things appear peaceful, there still may be persons in the shadows who are willing or who want to destroy the world. I think it really sets the tone and really resonates for the feeling that Kara gives at this point in the story, because at this point in the story Kara is still pretty ambiguous in terms of their objectives and goals. So I found that dialogue to really resonate for what they're going with at this point in the Kara arc, so that was pretty good for me. And of course, it is part, well, even though Boruto, they didn't really react a lot to it, but it was good to have them who are characters who grew up in a time of peace to hear stuff like that. Even though, yeah, getting the payoff for Boruto hearing stuff like this isn't the time. It isn't the time yet, so it's whatever with that. But good all the same. Now, when we have the sections with Boruto and company going to Victor's company, trying to get information, to bumping up into Victor. Obviously, the thing to take away from all of that is Victor's goal in terms of what he's trying to achieve with his medical technology, from regeneration, from lost limbs to the brain to the heart to stuff like that. And it really ties back into, certain members of Kara going forward. And it's just that the connection to certain characters within the Kara organization is plain to see. For those of you who read the manga, I'm referring to, say, like specifically like a character like Boro. So yeah, when I heard Victor speak like that, I'm like, so, okay, so this is where it's all really starting in terms of getting the technology together and everything. And really and truly, similar to what a fellow subscriber said to me on Discord, you know yourself, fam. Episodes like this really show you that the risks or the dangers in this time of peace really and truly are hiding in plain sight, and that everything isn't as peachy as Naruto would have wanted it. Obviously, we know that's the case, and really and truly, even though the great nations are better off right now, smaller nations aren't really reaping the benefits of this peacetime, especially like how we saw last week with the Rain Village, which I'm still surprised is in that state, which is wild. It always seems broken. So yeah, so for the most part, I think I got the most benefit out of this episode from how it expands and gives more context for certain things in the manga, and I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how the rest of this arc plays out, which I kind of expect to be like probably a 7-episode arc. This is episode 2, so yeah, so there's that. Other little things with the episode, like Sasuke interacting with Boruto and little lines like the fact that he left the village earlier instead of focusing on missions. Yeah, little things like that. Honestly, when Sasuke confronts and speaks about certain things in his past, when he's trying to encourage other persons to do better, it's always funny to hear him talk like that. It just adds to the fact that his character has really come full circle and he knows what he's fighting for these days, and he acknowledges his mistakes. So yeah, but it's still funny all to see him. So there's that. But all in all, I thought it was a decent episode. I feel like manga readers would really appreciate this episode more so than anime onlys, but it is what it is. As I said, it's still not the greatest episode in the world, so for anime only, that lends to the fact that yeah, it really isn't. But for manga readers, I can see you getting a better appreciation out of this episode. So yeah, for what it's worth, it was pretty decent. I like the context that's being built around the Kara organization and how they may have actually gone about achieving their goals, because as we know, Kara has achieved, they've spent millions of dollars, to say the least, within the Naruto universe, and having context being built up with Victor's company like this, we kind of have a better idea of how they've gone about their operations, I would say. So yeah, all in all, I'm interested in seeing where next episode takes us. Hashirama Cell. Yo, Hashirama Cell's the answer to everything in the Narutoverse. It's wild, honestly. So I'm interested to see how it plays out. Of course, given Hashirama's crazy regeneration, I guess it's only naturally expected to see play a part in this medical technology. So yeah, but all in all, I'll see where it goes and I'll let you know my thoughts as per usual. And that's all I have for this one, people. Be sure to like, it definitely helps the channel and video out naturally. Subscribe, we're on our way to 1,000 subs, you know the drill. And I'll see you in the next one. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday.